Have you ever wondered why some 70-year-olds still hike mountains while others struggle to climb stairs? It's not just luck. It's not just genetics. And it's definitely not just getting old. What if I told you the true key to slowing, even reversing, aging lies not in miracle pills or expensive treatments, but in how you move your body every single day? In this video, we'll break down 4 scientifically backed exercises that don't just build muscle. They restore mitochondrial power, improve brain function, and dramatically extend health span. Stick around, because I'll share real patient stories, research from top experts, and tips you can apply starting today. Number 1, Zone 2 cardio training. Let me ask you something. When was the last time your heart raced? Not from panic, but from purpose. Most people think that getting winded during a walk up the stairs is just a normal part of aging. But what if the real culprit is something much deeper, something happening inside your cells? As we grow older, the mitochondria in our cells, those tiny energy factories, start to break down. They become less efficient, produce less energy, and generate more oxidative stress. This cellular decline doesn't just rob us of stamina. It quietly accelerates the entire aging process. But there's a simple, science-backed way to slow that down. It's called Zone 2 training. What is Zone 2 training? Zone 2 refers to a level of aerobic exercise intensity where your body relies mostly on fat for fuel, and you can still maintain a steady conversation. Imagine walking briskly on an incline or cycling at a pace that challenges you without leaving you breathless. That's Zone 2. Medically speaking, it's around 60 to 70% of your maximum heart rate, or just below your ventilatory threshold. At this level, your mitochondria are being trained to use energy more efficiently. And that changes everything. Research in journals like Cell Metabolism has shown that Zone 2 training stimulates mitochondrial biogenesis, meaning your body actually creates more and higher quality mitochondria. This translates to improved energy, better endurance, and greater cellular health. Even more compelling, Zone 2 work improves insulin sensitivity. And that matters, especially for older adults. The muscle is the largest glucose sink in the human body. When your muscles become more insulin sensitive, your fasting blood sugar stabilizes, your A1C improves, and your risk of metabolic disease drops significantly. Why most people miss this? Here's the catch. Most people exercise either too hard or not hard enough. They may do intense spin classes or push themselves in boot camps, thinking they're building endurance. But often, they're actually working too hard to improve mitochondrial function and not hard enough to gain high-intensity adaptations. Others go for a casual walk, which, while helpful for general movement, isn't enough to push the body into fat-burning, mitochondria-boosting territory. Zone 2 hits the sweet spot. It trains the very system that aging tends to erode. How to start? Frequency: 3 to 4 sessions per week. Duration: 45 to 60 minutes per session. Intensity: use the talk test. You should be able to talk in full sentences, but not sing. Activities: brisk incline walking, stationary biking, rowing, elliptical machines, or outdoor hiking. In my clinical experience, I've seen remarkable changes in older adults after just a few weeks of Zone 2 training. One 68-year-old man with prediabetes started using a basic treadmill in his garage. 3 months later, his blood sugar improved, he was sleeping better, and he reported feeling mentally sharper. He told me it felt like someone had turned the lights back on in his brain. This isn't just about heart rate. It's about rebuilding your metabolic foundation and giving your cells a second chance. Number 2, deadlift and strength training for frailty prevention. Let's talk about something that most people overlook until it's too late. Frailty, not weakness, not aging. Frailty. It's that moment when getting off the floor becomes a struggle, when climbing stairs feels like a mountain, when a simple fall breaks a hip and triggers a downward spiral of hospital stays, complications, and dependence. The harsh reality is that frailty is one of the strongest predictors of mortality in older adults, and it doesn't show up overnight. It builds slowly through years of muscle loss, poor balance, and reduced resilience. But here's the good news. You can fight back. And one of the most powerful weapons in your corner is strength training, especially the deadlift. Why the deadlift? Because it's not just a gym lift. It's a movement pattern deeply embedded in daily life. Picking up groceries, standing up from chair, lifting a grandchild. The deadlift trains the glutes, hamstrings, spinal erectors, core, and grip, exactly the muscles that keep us upright, stable, and independent. As we age, these muscles naturally atrophy unless we use them. And when they weaken, we become more vulnerable to falls, fractures, and the slow erosion of autonomy. Deadlifting rebuilds that foundation. Numerous studies support the role of resistance training in preventing sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle mass and strength. A paper in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society concluded that resistance training in older adults significantly improves mobility, bone density, and balance, while reducing the risk of falls. The deadlift, in particular, offers additional benefits. Because it requires the entire body to work in coordination, it activates not just muscles, but the nervous system. This is critical for aging adults, as neuromuscular efficiency declines with age unless trained deliberately. And there's more. Resistance training increases production of key hormones like testosterone and growth hormone, both of which play vital roles in muscle repair, bone density, and metabolic health. I once worked with a 72-year-old woman named Diane who had stopped gardening and walking without a cane because she felt unstable. We started with bodyweight hinge movements, then progressed to kettlebell deadlifts. Within 6 months, she was lifting a 65-pound barbell from the ground with perfect form. But more importantly, she was back in her garden, carrying bags of soil without fear of falling. She didn't just get stronger. She got her life back. If you're over 60 and new to deadlifting, start light. Use a kettlebell, dumbbell, or trap bar instead of straight barbell. Focus first on mastering the hip hinge pattern with good form. Keep the spine neutral, core braced, and movement deliberate. Train in the 8 to 12 rep range, 2 to 3 times a week. You don't need to lift heavy to get results. What matters most is consistent, controlled resistance, and progressive overload. And if deadlifts still feel intimidating, remember this. Strength is not about lifting the most weight. It's about reclaiming your capacity to move confidently through life. Number 3, rucking and loaded walking. Walking is the most natural form of movement we have. But in today's world of elevators, cars, and remote controls, we've engineered it almost entirely out of our lives. And that's a mistake, especially if you're trying to age well. Now imagine adding just one small twist to your daily walk. A backpack. That's it. Not sprinting. Not weightlifting. Just walking with weight. This practice is called rucking, and it might be the most underrated form of exercise for older adults. What is rucking? Rucking is simply walking with a weighted backpack. That weight creates a low-level, continuous challenge for your cardiovascular system, muscles, joints, and balance, all without the jarring impact of running. It's accessible, joint-friendly, and scalable. And for older adults who want to improve stamina, bone health, and body composition, few exercises offer a better return on investment. Physiological benefits of rucking. At its core, rucking is a form of low-intensity, steady-state cardio, similar in effect to Zone 2 training. But because you're carrying a load, your heart rate increases slightly, keeping you in a fat-burning zone for longer periods. You burn more calories than normal walking without needing to move faster. Muscle activation also increases significantly. The added load engages your glutes, hamstrings, quads, core, and upper back. These are the very muscle groups that support posture, prevent falls, and allow you to move with confidence. Rucking also provides a critical stimulus for bone density, especially in the hips and spine, areas most prone to fractures with age. According to the National Institutes of Health, mechanical loading, like rucking, stimulates osteoblast activity, the cells responsible for bone formation, a safe alternative to high-impact exercise. For many older adults, jogging is off the table due to joint pain or past injuries. Rucking offers similar cardiovascular benefits, but without the pounding impact. The weight distributes force more evenly and can be customized based on fitness level. You can start with just 10% of your body weight in a backpack and work your way up. Walk on trails, around your neighborhood, or even indoors on a treadmill with a slight incline. James, a 64-year-old retiree from Colorado, had never stepped foot in a gym but wanted to lose weight and feel stronger. We started with 15 pounds in a backpack and daily 30-minute walks. Within 6 weeks, he lost 8 pounds, lowered his blood pressure, and began sleeping better. But more than anything, he said he felt proud because for the first time in years, he could walk for over an hour without stopping to rest. Practical tips to get started. Use a sturdy backpack with padded straps. Start with 10 to 20 pounds, depending on your comfort level. Walk for 30 to 45 minutes, 3 to 5 times per week. Maintain good posture, upright spine, engaged core, steady stride. Breathe through your nose to stay in the aerobic zone. Rucking may look simple, but don't underestimate it. It is movement rewielded, functional, ancestral, and profoundly effective at building strength and longevity without breaking your body. Number 4, joint stability and balance exercises. Maintaining strength is critical, but without stability and balance, even strong muscles can't protect joints or prevent falls. Stability is not about standing on a wobble board with your eyes closed. It's about training the small, deep muscles around each joint to fire in the right sequence under load, improving proprioception, coordination, and injury resistance. Why stability matters. With age, proprioceptive feedback from joints and muscles declines, leading to slower reflexes and unsteady movement. Chronic joint pain or past injuries compound the problem, causing seniors to rely on rigid compensations that further weaken stabilizers and increase fall risk. Falls are the leading cause of serious injury among older adults. Improving stability can literally be life-saving. Key areas to target. Hips. The gluteus medius and deep rotators control pelvic alignment during walking and standing. When weak, they lead to knee valgus, lower back strain, and hip arthritis. Shoulders and scapula. The rotator cuff and scapular stabilizers maintain proper shoulder mechanics. Underactive stabilizers contribute to impingement, labral tears, and frozen shoulder. Core. True core stability prevents excessive spinal flexion and extension under load. A stable trunk protects the lumbar spine during lifting and dynamic movements. Ankles and feet. Intrinsic foot muscles and ankle mobility provide critical feedback to the nervous system. Weakness here disrupts gait mechanics and compromises balance. Evidence and mechanisms. A randomized trial in the Archives of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation found that targeted stability exercises reduced fall risk by 45% in community-dwelling seniors over 12 weeks. Electromyography studies show that exercises like banded monster walks and side-lying hip lifts activate glute medius more effectively than standard squats, teaching the nervous system to recruit the correct muscles. Scapular wall slides and external rotations increase rotator cuff endurance, protecting the shoulder during everyday tasks. Core anti-rotation drills like Palloff presses and bird dogs strengthen the deep stabilizers without spinal compression. Exercise selection and progression. Hips. Side-lying hip abduction. 2 sets of 12 to 15 reps per side, focusing on slow, controlled lifts. Banded monster walks. 3 sets of 10 steps forward and backward, keeping knees slightly bent and core engaged. Shoulders. External rotation with resistance band. 2 sets of 15 reps per arm, ensuring full range without shrugging. Scapular wall slides. 3 sets of 10 reps, sliding arms overhead while keeping shoulder blades depressed. Core. Palloff press. 2 sets of 12 reps per side, resisting rotation under load. Bird dog. 3 sets of 10 reps per side, bracing the core and avoiding lumbar sway. Ankles and feet. Single leg balance with toe raises. 2 sets of 30 seconds per side, progressing to closing eyes. Barefoot walking drills. 5 minutes on varied surfaces, emphasizing foot arch activation. Integrating into a weekly plan. Incorporate stability exercises on non-lifting days or as part of your warm-up and cool-down routine. Spending just 15 to 20 minutes, 2 to 3 times per week, can yield significant improvements in joint health and balance. Consistency builds neuromuscular connections that protect joints and enhance overall movement quality. Consider Margaret, a 75-year-old retiree who had persistent knee pain and feared stairs. After 6 weeks of targeted hip and ankle stability work, she reported less knee discomfort, more confident steps, and even decided to take dance classes again. Stability training didn't just strengthen her joints. It gave her confidence to re-engage in activities she loved. Pulling everything together into a sustainable plan is the final step to extending Healthspan and reversing aging processes. It's not enough to perform isolated workouts. You need a cohesive strategy that balances aerobic work, strength training, stability drills, and recovery. Here's a practical, weekly template and a real-life example to illustrate its impact. Weekly Longevity Blueprint. Monday, Zone 2 Cardio, 45 minutes of incline walking or cycling at 60 to 70% max heart rate. Stability Circuit, 15 minutes focusing on hips and ankles. Tuesday, Deadlift Session, 3 sets of trap bar or kettlebell deadlifts, 8 to 12 reps, focusing on form and controlled tempo. Core anti-rotation, Palloff press 2 by 12 per side. Wednesday, Rucking, 30-minute walk with 10 to 15% body weight in backpack. Shoulder stability, banded external rotations 2 by 15. Thursday, active recovery, gentle yoga or stretching, focusing on hip and spinal mobility. Balance drills, single leg balance 2 by 30 seconds per side. Friday, Zone 2 Cardio, 60 minutes of rowing or elliptical, talk test confirmed. Stability Circuit, monster walks and scapular wall slides. Saturday, deadlift progression, lighter technique day, 3 by 12 reps at lower load. Core dynamic stability, bird dogs 3 by 10 per side. Sunday, rucking or outdoor hike, 45 to 60 minutes, breathing through nose to maintain aerobic zone. Foot and ankle drills, barefoot walking 5 minutes. Consistency over intensity. Regular moderate sessions trump sporadic extremes. Progressive overload. Gradually increase duration, load, or complexity to keep stimulating adaptation. Deliberate recovery. Active rest days with mobility work prevent burnout and injury. Holistic approach. Combining cardio, strength, stability, and balance yields systemic benefits. Meet Robert, a 70-year-old former accountant who felt trapped by low energy, stiff joints, and fear of falling. He followed the weekly blueprint for 6 months. Zone 2 walks 3 times per week, deadlifts twice, rucks on weekends, and stability drills interspersed. His results were remarkable. His VO2 max increased by 15%, his grip strength improved by 20 pounds, and he lost 10 pounds of body fat while gaining lean mass. Clinically, his HbA1c dropped from pre-diabetic levels to the normal range. But the most profound change was intangible. He no longer hesitated when stepping off the curb or chasing his grandchildren through the yard. He described his experience as rediscovering freedom in my body. Aging is not a linear decline, but a dynamic process that responds to the right stimuli. By training mitochondria, rebuilding strength, and reinforcing stability, you can push back against the cellular and systemic forces of aging. The secret lies in integrating these elements into a sustainable plan that fits your life. Your mission begins now. Choose one component, Zone 2 cardio, deadlifts, rucking, or stability drills, and commit to it this week. Track your progress, celebrate small wins, and build momentum. Because when you move with purpose, science, and consistency, you're not just living longer, you're living better.